Hi everyone, welcome to Paddock Chatter presented by the National Guard. I'm Greg White. Today we're going to be talking about AMA Pro Racing at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca and a couple other things. Let's start off with the American Superbike class and Ben Bostrom with a win. Pretty impressive over Josh Hayes. You know, it's only his third win in the American Superbike class, his first coming 11 years ago in Brainerd, Minnesota, his second in 2004 at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Now he's done it on a Ducati, on a Honda, and now on a Yamaha R1, showing a lot of range in motorcycles that Ben Bostrom can ride. I also want to let you know that the gear, the actual bodywork used, and the leathers that Ben Bostrom used on the Pat Clark Motorsports Yamaha R1 are up for auction. They're being auctioned off for Rett syndrome research. So, if you go to the blog and you scroll down a little bit, there's some information about the eBay links, and you can buy Ben Bostrom's leather suit that he actually won the race in. Chris Clark, teammate to Ben Bostrom, his stuff is also up for sale, so make sure you check that out. In the American Superbike class, the point situation, well, Josh Hayes left Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, 9 points ahead of Tommy Hayden. Josh finished second to Tommy's third, but it was a nice recovery from Hayden because early on in the race he was even further back than that. As for Josh Hayes, the Graves Yamaha R1 rider, well, since race number 2 at Road Atlanta earlier in the season, Hayes has won 4 races and had 4 second-place finishes. He's not finished below second place. I would say that right now Hayes is on a roll, and in 2 weeks we're heading to Virginia International Raceway where Hayes goes pretty well there. And one more note about the American Superbike class. So far this season, 5 different race winners on 3 different brands of motorcycles: Ducati, Yamaha, and Suzuki. I think that the way the rules are set up right now, they're working pretty well. Now, speaking of that, I had a conversation with Cycle World's Matthew Miles about the project that Eric Bostrom is on right now, which is the Show Air Cycle World Attack Performance Suzuki GSX-R 1000 with Yoshimura motors in it. Now, Matthew was telling me that the whole idea behind this Cycle World issue, they're dedicating a lot in the magazine. It's already been several issues, 7.5 pages, and there's more to come, is to really test the rules of AMA Superbike racing and to see if, you know, the factory dominance is really over and that a privateer can buy a bike off the showroom floor and be competitive. And there's a lot of interesting stuff in those articles, so run down to the magazine stand and get yourself a Cycle World and start reading all about the project. You know, Eric Bostrom's on that team, and he's starting to come back really strong, so we'll see over the next few rounds what Eric has and the Cycle World project has for everyone in the AMA Pro paddock. Now, in Daytona Sportbike, Josh Herron, who struggled a bit at Laguna to finish 6th, 1 place behind Danny Eslick, and gave way to Martin Cardenas, who won the race, is now only 1 point ahead of Eslick in the championship, with Cardenas 12 points back. That is one hot championship. Make sure you come in 2 weeks to VIR and check it out, or of course you can watch it on Speed. There's a lot of good reasons why AMA Pro Racing should be at the MotoGP event at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. I mean, number one, as a team owner or a rider, you're showcasing your program or your talents in front of 51,000 people. That's how many people showed up on Sunday. The other is, of course, you know, you're in front of the MotoGP paddock and you have team owners and riders and mechanics, and if you do well there, they can start talking about you. It was Elena Myers who made a big splash this weekend. Yeah, the Supersport rider who's 16 years old, the California native, who's already won a race this season. Now, she wasn't racing for the lead, she was actually racing for 4th place with James Rispoli. And what happened is she comes onto the front straightaway and she was driving in 5th place. And as she got to the line, she leaned the motorcycle over just before the line. That increases the revs and it kind of shot her forward just enough where she beat Rispoli to 4th. So after that race, a lot of people in the European press came to me and said, who is this Elena Myers? We've heard about her, but how old is she? Who's her representation? How long has she been racing? And we talked about the fact that it was very race savvy to make that move where she leaned the motorcycle over and used the revs to get 4th place. So being in front of the European press, having a good show as AMA Pro Racing did, can help us in the long term because, you know, The manufacturers in Japan who want to come racing not only read what's going on in the US, but they read what the US perception is in Europe as well. So the long term, it could really help AMA Pro Racing. All right, I gotta get out of here because 1998 750 Supersport champion and now Jordan Suzuki team manager Richie Alexander is getting married this weekend up in New York, so I gotta get out of here. But don't forget, VIR is coming up August 13th, 14th, and 15th, Virginia International Raceway. You can fly into Raleigh, North Carolina, or Greensboro and rent a car and drive up there. But the event promises to be a great one and really tight championships. 9 points in Superbike, 1 point in Daytona Sportbike. So make sure you come check it out. If you can't, well, of course, the coverage will be on Speed, and I'll tell you as we get closer what the times are going to be for that. So thanks for joining me here on Paddock Chatter. I'm Greg White. I'm out of here. See you next time.